So welcome everybody to Hot Date with ACP Authors. My name is Fatma and my guest today is Christine McCarthy. And hi, welcome Christine.
Hi, thank you for having me. It's very nice.
I'm so happy that you're on. And Christine, what is your thing with ACP and ACP authors and all the books?
So we, Grace Douglas and myself, run the company, and we publish, print all of the books for Access Consciousness, and then also other authors that do primarily self-improvement work or utilizing the access tools in books and in under certain topics that they're experts in. So we are responsible for cover design, editing, proofing, and also promotion and getting the book out there in the world to people wherever they are. We have an extensive translation team. So like, for example, we have close to 70 translated books in process right now in a variety of different languages. So that's been the bulk of our business over the last couple of years, is really transitioned from being English-based or taking English manuscripts and turning them into French, German, Portuguese, Spanish, Hungarian, Polish, Turkish, Italian. I mean, I can go on and on.
Yeah, and I love it. I mean, look at this. You could go on and on and on. What a variety and so many possibilities for a book that is published in with ACP, Access Consciousness Publishing, right? You get all the gifts that you have here to offer.
Yes. No, it's been fun. It's been every year I feel like we do something a little different, and so it makes doing what we do exciting as well. So we're constantly adjusting to different markets and where books are being sold and where the demand is, and we're able to ship and sell books anywhere in the world, which is really cool. Mm-hmm. You know, we get orders sometimes from places in the world we've not sold to yet, and it just feels like such validation that what we're doing is spreading. So it's fun.
And these books are also such a gift and such a contribution just to have them beside you. I'll always have a book with me and carry them around with me, and just to have the energy of these books in my home, or when a book arrives with the postman, right? I'm just like, not just my world expands, I also do get the whole house gets lighter and brighter with this, just having these books here. So Christine, there is a question that is being asked so much, and I hope you can bring us some clarity on that. How do I become an ACP author? How do I get my book out there?
I can help you with that.
Oh, I like it.
So the first thing you need to do is obviously write a manuscript and come up with an idea, create an outline, start writing. And then depending upon your strengths or whatever, you would then go out and find an editor of some sort to work on your manuscript with you very closely to develop it so that it becomes a book.
Okay, so my first question that pops up here is, so I have to go and find an editor, or do we have in ACP some editors who people can contact and who contribute?
We can. It's such a personal thing that I always encourage authors to choose and pick somebody that they feel energetically works really well for them, because it's their book. It's like having a baby, right? Mm-hmm. You nurture it for 9 months, and then you keep going, right? Like you still have the baby, but you have to work. So I personally recommend that they find that person on their own, just because it's just it's an intimate relationship where you're interfacing with somebody on a regular basis. You're talking about it. It's almost like coaching a little bit, or being facilitated. So I do feel like I encourage people to seek that person on their own. We can definitely help with that, but sometimes it's not always a great fit. So it's just kind of matching people and personalities and styles up. So we can definitely help with that. And then the fun part for us recently has been we found a really great woman that's working covers for us. So we we can help you design your cover. And that's, I mean, I like that, the design piece and just the
Yeah.
aesthetics and the visual, and
And
covers are
it's the
very
face
important.
of the book, right? It's the face.
Yeah.
So when you go and buy a book somewhere, the first thing that you see, it's the face, the
Yep.
cover. Yeah, I like it. Okay.
So, I mean, there's a lot of pieces and a lot of time that goes into a book that people think once it's written, it should just be published.
Mm.
That's just the beginning. And I think that you really need to have it proofread once or twice, and professionally edited, and so that it is a work of art, essentially. And it's, especially if it's something you're using in your business, it should be, an extension of whatever it is you're creating. And all of that stuff comes together, and I think the timeline really is 12 to 18 months. And that can be frustrating to people that are like, oh my god, I just spent 2 years writing this, or 3 years, I just want to get it out there. But that's what I think is a common mistake. That's not required. It's still part of the journey towards the end, which is finishing and having it printed. But you really want to make sure that it's quality and that it is something that people desire in the world too. And we have found that we've had the best success with other authors that are 100% engaged
Mm-hmm.
in their business, in promoting the book and talking about it. Because what most people don't understand is that books are still primarily like 76 or 78% sold word of mouth. You can have the best PR, you can have the best website, but ultimately you and your people and friends and family and whoever send a book to them that read it and say, oh, by the way, Mary Jo, I just read this great book and it's called blah blah blah. That's how books get sold still. So to talk about yourself, which sometimes can be uncomfortable for people, and what you're up to, is a great marketing tool.
Mm-hmm.
One of the best. So and then, once you launch your book, that you have to be, I think to be really successful, being a very engaged author, being available, giving people a sight into, why you wrote the book, how long it took you, just different things. You kind of just follow the energy with that, because not every book's the same.
Yeah.
And sometimes it takes a while for something to catch on. So like a lot of the things that we've been writing about are becoming more mainstream now. But 5 years ago, it was like, what is this stuff? We hadn't heard about choice or happiness, or like people really talking about things, or like gaslighting, another topic that is now in the last year or so kind of
Yeah.
mainstream. So you can lots of time be ahead of your time, and having patience, which can be, difficult, is really can be helpful in this process, because it's not, you're producing a product. So, and then the other thing I always recommend that authors do is, if they can, record their book onto audio,
Mm-hmm.
so that there's multiple forms. Like some people like to hold a book. Some people like to read it on an ebook reader. Some people prefer to listen to it. So if you really hit those three, yeah. Do you have a preference?
That's me so much. I like
Yeah,
both. I like the book,
yeah,
to touch, and also the audiobook, because when I'm in the plane or when I'm in the car,
yeah.
the first time I was at my very first bars class. Afterwards, I downloaded the Being You book from Dane. And I listened to it like 18 times. And each time, it's so funny because each time I listened to the book, I was like, have I listened to that before? What book is that? And sometimes I really caught myself like, oh, it's Being You. Yeah. It's like, let me ask you a funny question. Is there someone in the night who goes in and changes the words and the sentences?
I know. I've had that same thing where I was like, I've read this book a bunch of times, and I swear these 2 chapters were not in here last time.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's that's why they're books they're like reference materials, right? You just can go back to them. And
And
especially
AC,
now that we're
yeah.
not out traveling as often as we used to, we have more time to just sit around, and not sit around, but I mean, just, take a couple an hour, half an hour before bed. I've been reading a lot more before bed now because I'm not out to dinner or rushing around doing different things. So it's been kind of nice.
So when you are an ACP author, do you take care of that too? Like the ebook part or the audiobook part? It's all the package. Because I'm really asking this question like someone who doesn't know at all about it, what the process is. And I think there are a lot of people out there who are like super interested in that, what this whole process is. So, okay, now I have sent in the manuscript and I'm totally engaged with it and I'm in contact with you. And what comes next?
I like to have face-to-face meetings like we're doing right now, or over
Mm-hmm.
Zoom or Skype. I just want to get a real sense from the author about like what their plan is, why they wrote the book, what they'd like to see, and then figure out the parts and pieces that we need to put together and the timeline, the cost and all that.
Yeah.
And they
The cost, I think it's also, can you say approximately? I mean, I don't want to talk a lot about money here, but just approximately, how much is that?
Yeah, everybody asks me that all the time, and it's hard to tell because the scope of work is different for every book. Like some books are very well written from the get-go, so they require less editing and proofreading.
Mm-hmm.
There's and it depends on the length of your book, and also what type of designer we end up having to use. Like if it's just a straight paperback with no illustrations, no graphics and something, it's typically a little less expensive. And then the real cost honestly comes in for the designing of the cover. It's the graphics and like the time that goes into it can be costly, but you know, you kind of do it once. So, but I say to have anywhere from $3,000 to $8,000.
Okay.
And it just depends on how the level of professional you want, because you can pay a lot of money for anything that you get. So you know, it's the quality and the quantity, and then also just the way that people,
And then
all vendors charge different amounts of money.
yeah,
So
and you look also at the whole process and how many people are working with
involved
it.
in
It's
it.
like, okay, yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
What
and you
will it
don't.
create in the world and what will it contribute to you at the end? Mm-hmm.
I think if you don't think of your book as it's going to make you a millionaire,
Yeah.
you know, it's something you're choosing to put money into. It's investment in yourself, in your business, and in, you know, if you want to be a speaker, if you want to, you know, do other things like have a TED talk, you know, you constantly are looking at different avenues for you to talk about what you're doing. It's a great avenue because it gives you some credibility.
Mm-hmm.
And they go, oh, they wrote a book. Oh, that's interesting. I find what they're talking about interesting, and I'd like to learn more. You know, and then sometimes those people turn into private clients. So you're getting paid back in different ways that aren't always tangible from sales, book sales.
Yeah.
So you kind of just, you know, if it's something you really want to do and you feel like your story or what you have to say is interesting, it has to be interesting, then you should definitely write a book, you know?
I
Because you can
love
help. I
that.
mean, you can help one person, you could help a million. You don't know, you know? And the way that our books get out there are just strange, how people come about it. But it is primarily word of mouth. I mean, we're not aggressive in our marketing,
No.
you know? Yeah. So they
And
have a life of their own for sure.
and when people would like to buy a book, I mean, in classes, we often have the traveling bookshop where
Mhm.
all the books they are presented there and people can touch them and can read a little bit in them and can buy them. Yes.
Yes.
And I see that a lot because I've worked a lot in the traveling bookshop. Like some people are like, okay, I take this and this and this and this. And then they're like, oh, I have my suitcase. How am I going to carry all these books home now? But these books are calling me. And I love these moments when people say that. And I'm like, then go and buy another suitcase. And they're like, yeah, I will.
Yeah. That's so cool. I mean, I remember when I first I think I bought like 5 books at once. And I was like, oh my God, I'd never heard of things spoken or written the way they were. And a lot of what was in the books made sense to me. I was like, oh wow, yeah, if you look at it differently, you know, you can change your life. And that's the gift, you know, the change and how you can transform anything in your life if you're willing to do the work. So it's really exciting. Yeah. I'm lucky. I feel very lucky to to do what I do and interface with the team and the people that I work with. So I'm very grateful.
And you have all the books at home, Christine?
I do. I have so many books. I have so many books hidden in different places that I'm like, where did I put that book? Half are in my closet, somewhere in an armoire. There's probably 4 books on my counter right now. I'm always reading something, and just, thinking of different ideas and ways in which we can, continue to create products that are really interesting and helpful. So that's fun too.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So do you have, maybe we're gonna post it here underneath this video, like where do people write to become an author, if they already have a book or if they're in the process to get more information even?
Sure, they can write into admin, ADMIN at accessconsciousnesspublishing.com. That's one of the emails I check on a regular basis, but people can start there. And then if they want to be submitted, the best thing to do is email me and submit the work so I can take a look at it, because I can't really help without knowing what, important details, like what's the title, how long is it, what's your time frame, what are you looking for, like give me some information instead of I want to be published, because I need to take a look at the manuscript to make sure that we're even a good fit. I mean, I turn away business a lot because I don't think we can do anything with the book, and I don't want people to publish with us just because we can. I really want them to find an outlet that works for them and what they want to accomplish as business people.
I like that.
Yeah.
Is there anything else that you would like to add? Like something that I cannot even think about now asking?
Well, we actually just signed yesterday that we have been working on getting our own website up to sell the books, and it'll be here in the next couple months. So I don't know if we can at some point with this recording post our new website. We'll have it whenever we have it up and going. But for now, if you want to buy any books in bulk, the best way to do it is to email us, and we can sell you 10 books of one title at 50% of retail. So that if you want to sell any books in either classes you teach or, give them out to friends or whatever, I don't know, people are very creative, and we can do that. And the best email is sales, SALES at accessconsciousnesspublishing.com. And I apologize for the really long email, but it's
like Access Consciousness Publishing. Oh my God, I made a mistake. Let's start from the beginning.
Just make sure you spelled consciousness properly. That's the biggest one. So, but yeah, so we're, ebooks, you can really find our books anywhere, from websites all over the world to, Audible, iTunes, Amazon, Kobo. And so you can find our audiobooks, our ebooks, and also our print books. So,
and on the Access Consciousness shop, right?
Yes.
You go to accessconsciousness.com and there's the shop part, and you just go in and order there.
Yeah, definitely. So yeah, we're as far out as we can go.
Thank you so much for all the information that you give us. I'm like, oh, now I know, right? And now I also have, when people ask me, I have to have something to tell them. So thank you so much, Christine, for what you're doing, for what you're being, for us, for the books, for the world. I love that. It's really, yes. And thank you everyone for watching, and see you next week.